March is when things really begin to pick up around the garden, and today we're going to discuss the lucky 13 vegetables we'll be planting this month. I've broken up my vegetables into 4 different groups: the must plant, the will plant, the probably will plant, and yeah, maybe I'll plant them. So while there are 13 different vegetables that we'll be planting this month, actually not all of them might be in. Most are going to definitely be planted, but maybe not all of them, because a few fall into that, yeah, maybe I'll plant them this month category. In reality, it's going to be less than 13 vegetable seeds we'll be sowing this year, and that's because we're actually going to be planting some root crops that I've never tried before, and you plant them from the tuber themselves, kind of like potatoes you do. We're going to discuss them in a minute, but here are the vegetables that we're going to be planting this month. And I'm going to start from the bottom and go into the top. Amongst those maybe we'll plant is mustard. I like mustard plants. I like the leaves. It gives a little bit of a spice to salads, but it's not a big deal if I grow it or not. So if I got room, if I got time, if I feel like it, I'm going to be planting some mustard. In that same vein is going to be kohlrabi. I've grown kohlrabi before, done quite well with it. It's okay. It's not a knock your socks off vegetable for me. So if I got the room for it, we'll be putting it in. I've actually grown this in coffee containers, just like this. Just a Maxwell House coffee. Fill it up with dirt. You can see there's holes in the bottom of the container, and put one plant in each of these. They've done okay. I think they're a little constrained. They end up getting a little constrained by the coffee containers. So these were a little bit smaller than what I would have wanted. I also grew some in the ground, and they did much better. Got the bigger bulb on it. But you can grow it in a coffee container if you want. So kohlrabi, might plant. This had been under my might plant and is now under my probably will plant, and that's parsnips. I got a special container that's actually drainage pipe. It's about 18 inches, 2 feet round. I might plant them in this just to see if I could get a really long parsnip. Hit or miss success with parsnips in the past, and that's because my soil has been a little rocky, so you get some weird looking parsnips from that. Now in the new container, it's going to be all smooth soil all the way down, so hopefully they'll grow long and straight and get to a good size. Eggplant is the next one, and that's also because I'm the only one that eats the eggplants. I rather like the eggplant lasagna. I'm not a big fan of just plain eggplant, although I do eat it, but eggplant lasagna I love, so this might be going in this year. The next group is all will plant, and we'll be going with the turnip, the purple top globe turnip. I'm going to be direct seeding. I'm not going to start seeds indoors. You can start the seeds indoors, and I have done that in the past. Both ways work fine. It's just because I'm limited space for seed starting, I gotta decide what I'm going to start direct sow and what I'm going to start indoors. So this will be direct sow. And if you read the seed packets, they tell you to direct sow these, that they don't like to be disturbed, but you definitely can start them indoors and transplant them outdoors. Similarly, spinach. Packets say to direct sow this and they'll perform better, and I've kind of found it the same way. Plants haven't responded well to transplanting for me in the past, so that's why I'm going to direct sow spinach this year in the garden, and I'll probably be growing these in my containers, my bus bucket containers, rather than garden space for this. Another direct sow this year is going to be peas. These are definitely seeds that you can start indoors, and many gardeners do. Again, just for limited space and the amount of peas that I want to grow this year, I'm going to direct sow them in the garden. I've seen people use like gutters, fill that with soil, and then you plant it in there, and then you just take the gutter and you lay it out, and all the seeds in the soil goes right into the garden trench you dig. I tried that one year. It was horrible. It was a mess. Didn't work for me. So these will be direct sowed. And then peppers. We got a cornucopia of peppers. I've grown hot peppers in the past, and I've got a ton of crushed red pepper still in my cabinets because it's not used that much in my house. So we go with the sweet peppers. So I'm going to try a few different kinds this year. Got a sweet frying pepper, a sweet carnival blend, sweet banana peppers, and the more traditional bell peppers. So these are 4 different groups of peppers that I'm going to be growing. And my wife really loves peppers. She makes sofrito, so she likes a lot of peppers for that. So we'll be having a lot of them this year. And then last amongst the seeds will be oregano, another herb. This one will be started indoors. Now, basil should be planted in this month. I actually got a little ahead of myself last month and planted it early, and it's coming up and doing fine. But that I intended to plant in March, but as I said, I got a little bit ahead of myself. So these are all the seeds that we're going to be starting, but there's a few more things we're actually going to be growing that are not done from seeds. The first one is going to be horseradish. I've never planted horseradish before, but you start with the root, you plant it in the ground, and you get a lot more horseradish from it. I'm going to be growing that in a bucket just to kind of contain it, because from what I understand, you'd never get rid of horseradish once you plant it, because you break off just a piece and it's going to grow. So as I said, I'm going to grow it in a bucket. That way I'll be able to contain it and not have it spread out all over my yard. The next vegetable that we're going to start this month are the sweet potatoes. We're going to be growing slips. Start your sweet potato either in the glass of water, as is traditional, or in soil. I'm going to do both this month, and that's because I've always done it in the glass. You let the roots grow down, you get the little slips that grow up off the potato. But that, from what I understand, is actually a longer process than if you just put the potato in a tray of soil, and then the slips will just grow up off of it. We'll see. And I'll be trying both methods. That way I'll be sure to have slips to grow one way or the other. So those are the 13 vegetables we'll be starting in March. Things are really going to start heating up now. Between March and April, there's just a whole cornucopia of vegetables to really get growing. So we're going to hit the ground running next week, and we start a lot of the plants very first week of the month. As the month progresses, we'll start planting some of the seeds outdoors, the spinach, the turnips, and a few others. So if you want to see what we were doing last week in the garden, check out this video right here, and then hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. And that way you'll be able to follow along on the progress on all of our vegetables as we try to grow a supermarket in our own backyard. Okay, thanks for watching.